Hey folks, I'm here today at Google Cloud Next in the GDE Lounge, and I'm here today with Jigasa, who's been creating some really amazing things with Google tools. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe one project that you're really proud of?
Absolutely. I'm very honored to be here today. My name is Jigyasa and I'm an AI ML engineer. I have built a lot of large scale, low latency user personalization and monetization systems, particularly on social media apps, e-commerce platforms, and now ride sharing. Along with that, I am a Google developer expert for cloud and AI, and I'm also been doing a lot of teaching via LinkedIn Learning, instructing folks on how to integrate AI into product architecture and build and evaluate agents, which I think building sometimes can be the easier part, evaluating is the harder part.
Evaluation is actually a really tricky problem. So, can you pick just one of the things that you've created that you want to talk to us a little bit about today? Is there any one that stands out as particularly cool?
In terms of cool, I think a project I did with a bunch of GDEs on the AI racing coach for
Cool.
using Gemini was pretty cool. It tops the list for sure.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that? What does it do? How does it work? What tech does it use?
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine you are in a racing car and even a millisecond, you forget to press the brake or you just didn't realize there was a
Yeah.
turn, specifically for amateur drivers or
Okay.
just learning. Racers, I should rather say. And then you have this real time coach, which is powered by Gemini,
Okay.
who would tell you throttle or accelerate or push brakes. And it can, we have also defined very coach personas. So
Yeah.
some people maybe are more motivated in some other tones, and for this we have built two types. So one is the hot path,
Okay.
on the spot, low latency, and for
Okay.
this we used Gemini Nano, because in the paddock you might not have Wi-Fi access,
Yeah.
or
No,
the latency can be too much.
You're outside.
Absolutely, and the connection is very flaky. But imagine you've completed a lap and you come closer to the paddock. That is where the data gets stored and uploaded and evaluated by, let's say, the Gemini 3 Pro model.
Okay.
And it converts it into what kind of further coaching you would need in the next lap. Maybe you need they would want to tell 3 seconds before, or rather just 3 milliseconds before, what is your speed like, and it would evaluate your performance as a whole.
So is this like my headphones here, like sitting in my ear?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, so as I'm driving, it's giving me vocal feedback about how to drive better and find the racing line. And,
Yes.
oh, that's super cool. So how did you build that? Did you vibe code that something that cool, or did
You
you?
bet.
Really?
Honestly, none of us come from any sort of racing backgrounds. The most I had done prior to that was go-karting, of course,
Okay.
and then driving a Lambo and Aston Martin at Speed Vegas at Last Cloud Next. And
Okay.
who would know that, in a year, the next time I would be at Google Cloud Next, I would be talking about a project. And honestly, this was done in, I would say, a span of 4 to 6 weeks, with everyone having their own full-time jobs. And this was something people did over the evenings or weekends.
Wow, I am actually floored. So you said you vibe coded it.
Yes.
What AI dev tools did you use? Did you use Gemini CLI? Did you use Antigravity? Did you use AI Studio? Probably didn't use Stitch. Which
Yeah.
ones did you use?
So the first thing that we got from our head racer was telemetry logs. And
Okay.
as I said, none of us knew what those telemetry logs meant.
Of course.
So the first thing that comes to our mind was upload them to AI Studio and make sense of it.
Okay.
That's what we did. So we asked it to make sense of it, tell us, what it means, what is lat, long, what is the acceleration happening, throttle, GPS coordinates. It really, acted as an anchor,
Okay.
teaching us the very basics of it.
Okay.
And then we used the prototype mode, the build mode of AI Studio, where we just prototyped about okay, these are the GPS coordinates, how is, visualize the car moving, and where are the points where we would actually need coaching. And the best thing, I could share it with my friends with one-click deploy. All you need to do is give their email IDs, and they could, they could see what I was thinking, and not just send screenshots or send them a GitHub repo, and they're okay, these are the instructions. That kind of reduces a lot of friction.
Yeah,
in
so
my
it makes
opinion.
collaboration possible so you can share ideas, get feedback much easier than having to. Did you even have to share code?
So there comes the second part. So
Okay.
now that we were all on the same page, we had understood what the problem was about, and we had like a an idea of like, okay, this is what we want our UI UX to look like. This is how we want the voice feedback to look like. That is when anti-gravity came into picture.
Okay.
So we connected. I still remember we were in an auto shop. And on the back of a car, we had a laptop propped up. I wish I could share pictures here.
I think I actually have some, so we'll see if we can figure out how to integrate them into the video.
Absolutely. So it is after work. A couple of us are gathered around that. We connect the GPS sensor. Of course, none of us know how it works. And we tell Antigravity, and it automatically downloads and installs the driver, writes Python code to extract the GPS data that we have, telemetry logs. So neat. And we were like literally awestruck. Everyone was just like looking at the screens like, wow, that's cool.
So Antigravity just knew how to interact with this like device. So
Absolutely.
So it was working with an embedded system. That's really cool. I haven't talked to a lot of people who've done that yet.
Yeah, I think it went on the web, found the manual which we would have to search through, installed what was required, wrote Python code. It was pretty neat in my opinion.
Awesome. So you vibe coded that part. What else did you build? Because like you still needed the part that generated the voice. You needed the part that you needed some sort of app that worked with the driver. Was that running on a phone? Like, tell me a little bit more about the tech stack and how this all ended up coming together.
It was all anti-gravity. If I say the tech stack,
okay.
In all honesty, I think but it actually ran on. It was a web app to begin with, because this was our initial prototype, and we were using Gemini Nano, as I said, for the hot path, immediate no network access built in Chrome. And for initials, we literally had the laptop in a backpack in the car, strapped to the seat, because we didn't have enough hardware. We didn't but definitely part 2, we're doing much more advanced things.
Oh, there's going to be a part 2?
Yes, we're doing it right after I/O.
Oh, cool. So are we gonna iterate on the thing, try to make the driver coach better, make it more effective?
Absolutely. And then we're also gonna move to phone, like Pixel this time, because it does come with smarter hardware.
Okay, that sounds cool. Are you gonna be able to do anything with like small,
like fine-tuned Gemma, maybe offline models?
Offline. I was gonna ask, are you gonna do offline models or local models on the device? That's really neat. So one of the things I hear from folks a lot is that there's a lot of tool choices out there. There's a lot of libraries out there. There's a lot of models out there. Even from Google, there's a lot of models in the Gemini family. What tips do you have for folks who are getting started and want to build something cool on themselves? Maybe they want to build a go-karting coach, or they want to build something cool with an RC car. What tips would you have for them to get started? How should folks go about learning this stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I say the first thing is the best form of learning is by doing it. You cannot just hear videos all the time and find that perfect moment to get started with. You just have to jump right in with the sharks, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed, specifically if you have so many tools and you don't come from that background that you have the knowledge to figure out which tool. So I'd say start with AI Studio, just ai.dev, browser based, and then there are like chat mode and build mode. So build mode is what I feel is I find comfortable to get started with. There's a gallery of apps. You find something that's similar. And as I said, one click, deploy and publish. Share it with friends, get feedback. So that is pretty amazing. If you feel you come more from an IDE kind of a background and you know the ins and outs of technology a little bit better, Antigravity or Gemini CLI. Personally, I'm a huge person of visuals. And even though I like Gemini CLI, I think Antigravity is like what has stuck the most.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a big Antigravity fan as well, but I do run both the CLI and Antigravity all the time. So last thing, why did you become a GDE?
I think for me, I have been doing open source, and I initially started my whole journey with open source and specifically building random Android apps and publishing to the web.
Okay.
I think that's how all we did. And I think during my whole journey, I realized that a lot of people helped me. My first meetup was a Google Developers Group meetup that I went to. And I think I found people, like-minded people, apart from work, we share a lot of experiences in life, and we help each other grow because there is no sense of competition, we're not in the same workspace, yet we are all working together. So it's a very different environment. And I think slowly and steadily I graduated to GDE, became AI GDE, then Cloud GDE. So it's a way for me to be connected with the community, and it also helps me with my day job and become better, and of course get early access to all these cool tools and technologies.
No, the early access piece is great, and it's fantastic. I love being with the community. It's always the best part of events like this. So I just wanted to thank you for
Yeah.
coming and telling us about your projects today. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thanks a lot, and hope you all had a great conference.